For this week, we're going to be doing the complementary and analogous color scheme work. I told you guys last week that I'm only going to require that you do one of each of the three color schemes, but I'm going to experiment with two different versions of each of these, complementary and analogous, so that you can see kind of what happens and what options you have. I also told you last week that I was going to give you the option if you didn't want to keep drawing this this drawing here of a cone, a box, and a sphere. You could do your own drawing. So I grabbed some simple materials. I grabbed 4 sheets of white paper and put it down on my table. And I'm going to grab some simple objects. You can grab other ones if you would like, but I'm going to set up a little still life here of 2 simple objects, and I'm going to draw them on this square here. So I'm going to change the camera angle for a second. I'll draw it, and then we'll continue with the narration. So for this drawing, I'm going to start by placing the line of the table, and I'm using the back line of the white sheets of paper to represent that. I'm going to draw it on a diagonal here just to make it a little bit more interesting. And from my perspective, I'm going to quickly sketch out what I see here. So I'm going to include this coming down this way and around. I'm going to look for angles, so I'm holding my pencil out in front, looking for angles and trying to relate the size of things. I'm looking for shadows. And again, relating all of these items together. And now I'm going to draw the cast shadows that are sort of on the ground here as well. Okay, that looks good. That's very easy. So this drawing is going to get transferred to these spaces, and then I'm going to start working on my color schemes. So what the next step that we're going to do once you have all of your drawings transferred, and again, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to do this entire sheet. You can do one of each, a monochromatic, a complementary, and an analogous color scheme. The reason why I'm doing more than that is to show you some options that you have with your color schemes. If you look here at complementary color scheme number 1, the one green object stands out against the entire red background and even the red objects. So this is one way you can think about colors, is to make something really stand out, to make one individual thing stand out. So the complementary colors are red and green, which are across from each other on the color wheel. The second option you have is to separate all of the objects from the background. So you see here you have violet and yellow, and you'll actually see in the shadows here closely, you'll actually see violet in the yellow of the shadows, creating shadows, because remember, with complementary color schemes, we try to tend to not use black to create our shadows. We use the complement. If you look back at the red example, even though this looks black, it's actually green on top of the red that's creating those cast shadows there. The other options are the analogous color schemes, and again here you see 2 other different ways. So we see reds and oranges against reds and violets. Now these are close to each other on the color wheel because red and violet are next to each other and red and orange are next to each other on the color wheel. So you have orange, red, and violet, those three colors. Two of the objects are red, one of them is orange, and the background is violet. In this example, you're using blue, greens, and yellows. And in this one, they really just separated, Matas separated the table from the background. So you have blues and greens being used in the objects and the background, and then the table is yellow. So these are the options that you have. I'm gonna sketch out in fast motion one of each of my color schemes using the blanks, the drawings that I did here, and then I'll let you guys get at it. So I'll speed this video up now. You can see some of the choices that I'm making, but that's basically it. Remember to blend, to use light layers and layer on top of itself until you get that rich color that we're looking for. And if you have questions, send me an email.